As a native Canadian, it has been far too long since I last visited Canada's Wonderland. And since then, they've added 2 brand new experiences that I have been dying to get to. So come along with me on my long-awaited return to Canada's premier amusement park. What's up, guys? So today we have driven to Canada's Wonderland. I'm in the Toronto area just for a little over half of the day today, so I'm here. It's about 20 minutes before they open, so I'm going to keep this short and sweet so I can try and get in line for Alpenfury right away. Super stoked to be here. Been waiting for this roller coaster for over a year now. I think it's almost been exactly a year since they made the announcement. And I've heard rave reviews. I'm sure all of you guys have heard online too, or some of you have definitely been on it as well. So super excited to hopefully get my first ride in. Fingers crossed, you never know what's gonna happen. But again, it's been about 3 years, so I have some time to try out Minebuster, because I know that did just get a new retracking as well. And then hopefully I can sneak in a ride on Behemoth and Leviathan before I can go. Kind of depends on how the Alpenfury line is. Again, it's about 9:40 right now. I can see some crowds at the gate, so I'm going to try and get there right now to maximize my chances. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, and it's going to be a great day. Stay tuned for an Alpenfury first-time reaction. So as I'm walking up to Canada's Wonderland, something that is new is actually their front gate. At least new for me. I haven't been here in about 3 years, I think. It used to be brutal. Sorry, I'm trying to vlog and walk. I don't do this often. But yeah, used to be horrible crowds at the front of Canada's Wonderland. They fixed it with a really nice gated and security area. Big improvement, big improvement. So we just got off our first ride on Alpenfury, and what else is there to say but man, that thing packs an absolute punch. Got in the very, very back row. You can't pick your seat. High popularity ride, of course. Canada's Wonderland is the most popular Cedar Fair park, so this thing is gonna get big lines, so it's best you go right in the morning. I ran right to it. Still had to wait a 90-minute wait, but worth it in the end for the new ride. The start of the ride is fantastic. You get a nice pop of airtime right as you get off the first launch, diving into that tunnel. And that's where the launch really starts to just absolutely send you through that mountain and up in that non-inverted top hat. The whip on that top hat as you go into one inversion, out, and then back into the other one is insane. And then after that, it's just back to back to back inversions. You're just flipping every way, which direction. You probably honestly feel like you're upside down for more of this ride than you are right side up. The whip that you get through these inversions is so, so nice. So elaborating a little bit further, the whip that Alpenfury provides gives an airtime feeling that's totally different to the traditional airtime feel that's on Leviathan and Behemoth. Soaring through these inversions at such a high speed gives a greater ejector feeling with a lot more lateral forces. This was something that Canada's Wonderland was missing from its coaster lineup, as well as a high thrill level launch coaster. I do remember when this roller coaster initially got announced, there was a little bit of worry, or maybe not worry, but I know that myself and maybe a few other people were concerned about, is there too many inversions? Is there not enough airtime? And after riding it, I do think this is a perfect fit for Canada's Wonderland. Leviathan and Behemoth, they cover the airtime, and this was a perfect fit. The whippy inversions, everything. It's a lot different to Yukon Striker. Yukon Striker's inversions feel very much more floaty, sort of you were gracefully traveling through them, whereas Alpenfury just whips you through, kind of like the bobsled feel that they kind of were going for with the theming. Adding to the amazing launch and forces that Alpenfury provides, the great near-miss elements as the track weaves in and around itself create some amazing head chopper and hand chopper moments. The trains do not feel as crammed as previous coaster trains that were built by Premier, and they are much, much better without those comfort collars. This ride is smooth as ice. No pun intended. Now, being a little nitpicky, as all coaster enthusiasts sometimes are, I do think that this roller coaster felt like it was over a little bit fast. Now, this is a natural reaction to a roller coaster that has a launch instead of a lift hill, which traditionally does add a lot of time to roller coasters, so there is that to consider, as well as the fact that it was a 90-minute wait, which can kind of skew your perception of how long the ride actually was. So we'll have to get more rides in and see if this actually is a pretty big determining factor, but overall, Alpenfury is a world-class roller coaster. Canada's Wonderland dug into Wonder Mountain, and they struck gold. Our next coaster, however, is gonna be rather old as opposed to gold. However, in 2025, it has a completely new experience. So let's go check out Mighty Canadian Minebuster. Okay, I just got off of Mighty Canadian Minebuster. It has been 3 years since I've ridden this roller coaster. I have some things to say. The retracking has made this roller coaster so much better. It's not perfect, but it is a lot better. Roughly the whole first half of the ride has been retracked, and the consistent floater airtime you get is unbelievable. I sat near the back, as you guys probably saw. I left myself a decently large gap for airtime, and man, those first 3 hills, not ejector, but just floating out of your seat each time, it feels great. I specifically remember this ride being very much, you were just flat in your seat the entire time going over every single hill, and it was just very lackluster, especially for a wooden coaster. But man, this thing is so much better. It'd be sick if they retract the second half. This thing would bump up even more than it already has. Definitely got to check out Mighty Canadian Minebuster, 100%. So much better than in the past. Now, while the first half had me quite amazed, the second half of this roller coaster is nothing but mediocre. This coaster isn't the roughest wooden roller coaster in the world, but it's definitely not smooth by any means, and it's relatively forceless between the helix and the airtime hills in that second half. Nonetheless, this coaster is an all-time classic, and it is a great improvement, and fingers crossed that the Gravity Group comes back and does the second half for next season. Now, let's move on to a roller coaster that didn't have any tangible changes in the 2025 season, but definitely improved in my rankings after this ride. Just showing how broken the single rider line is here. Literally 0 people in the single rider line. So I did not plan to ride Yukon Striker today, but I walked by and the line was decently long. Literally 0 people in the single rider line. Now, every time I come here, we split up for the single rider line anyway, just so it's a shorter wait. And I cannot believe more people don't do that. I literally just walked on, sat in the front seat because there was a single spot, and got off all within 5 minutes. So I was saying, I am not the biggest fan of dive coasters. I've been on Valriven countless times. It has way too big of a line all the time. But I decided to ride Yukon because there was no line, and it surprises me every time. It by far is the best dive coaster. I've been on Shikra and Valriven, still got to get on Griffin. But I called the inversions floater earlier, and that's true for most of them, but man, that loop gray out so badly. I actually couldn't believe it. It was a lot more forceful than I remember. So Yukon Striker, especially for a 0-minute wait, really good. It may shoot up my rankings, not gonna lie. It was really good. Behemoth line does not look too bad. 30 minutes, we'll take it, we'll take it.
On Behemoth.
Behemoth, great as always. I think Behemoth is one of the most underrated hyper coasters in the Cedar Fair Six Flags chain. I don't know if it's just because people don't get up here often, because Canada's Wonderland is kind of far north, but I think it's just as good almost as like Diamondback, and it's better than Intimidator at Carowinds in my opinion, and all in all, great ride. Airtime over every hill, kind of mid between floater and ejector on some of the hills. Great ending, and overall fantastic ride. So it was about a half-hour wait. I wait through about 80% of the line, and look what I see. I waited through all of that, only to be able to join a line that starts right here. So as you guys probably saw, I just got off of that Behemoth, riding in the single rider line. That time I got placed closer to the front, row 3. I do not remember Behemoth hauling that much. It is flying over those airtime hills. I'm talking ejector airtime over each hill and each drop. Obviously the back's better for the initial drop, but not gonna lie, Leviathan actually has a lot to prove if it's gonna be my #1 at Wonderland now. It was in the past, but man, Behemoth is way better than I remember. Coaster enthusiasts, get up here to Canada. You guys are missing out, and these coasters are a lot better than you guys remember, I promise, I promise. Alpenfury just makes this area look so much better, honestly. We got that crazy turn at the turnaround point of the ride. The 0G stall above the path. Man, this ride is so good. So I'm inside the arcade next to Leviathan, just got a ride in. I have to make this quick because my phone is at 2%. Great ride as always. I think Behemoth does beat in this ride. I think Behemoth knocks it off that pedestal. I love the speed. Gigas are always great. The drop, fantastic. I got put in the middle row. It is what it is, but I think Behemoth tops it. That airtime was unreal, and it's a much longer ride, and that matters, that matters. I will talk to you guys in the parking lot when I get a charger. All right guys, so I am back in my car. My phone is eating up some electrons right now. We are back to a good percentage. And that does conclude my day here at Canada's Wonderland. Again, it was just a short visit. I was only here from 10 o'clock to, it's about almost 3 o'clock now. Gotta head home, a bit of a far drive, but fantastic visit within the 5 hours on a Saturday in summer. Got 6 rides in, 2 on Behemoth, 1 Leviathan, 1 Alpenfury, 1 Minebuster, and Yukon Striker, obviously. Overall thoughts on coming back here after about 3 years. The rides are a lot better than I remember. Behemoth felt like it was going so fast. We were getting thrown over those airtime hills. Yukon Striker, Wonderland single rider line is the biggest cheat code in existence. You guys have to utilize that if you come here because it's actually a really good ride. That vertical loop is unbelievably forceful. I could not believe how much I was graying out on it, to be honest. First time that's happened to me on Yukon Striker. Another takeaway is Canada's Wonderland is definitely the busiest Cedar Fair park, or formerly Cedar Fair Park. I knew that was the case beforehand, not only just based on what I've read online, but also from my own experience. It's definitely crowded here more days than not. So just keep that in mind if you do plan on coming to Canada's Wonderland. There will be waits. There's always fast lane available. But again, that's kind of why I say use the single rider line when you can. It's very, very useful. Unfortunately as well, I only got 1 ride on Alpenfury. Hard with only 1 ride to kind of give a full in-depth opinion on it. It is a fantastic ride, as I said before. I love the whippy inversions. It's something that Canada's Wonderland was missing in their lineup for a while. Not to mention a thrilling or high thrill level launch coaster. Of course, they have backlot stunt coaster, but that one's more of a family coaster though. It just isn't at the level of Alpenfury or any other major launch coasters like Maverick or Flight of Fear even at Kings Island or Kings Dominion. Alpenfury was definitely something that Canada's Wonderland needed, and they hit the nail on the head with it. They are running the dispatches relatively fast. I will give Canada's Wonderland credit. They are running all trains possible. Their dispatches are super fast. They are doing everything they can to fill every single row. And that's good to see because I'm not gonna lie, in the past, I haven't been too thrilled with Canada's Wonderland's operations. Maybe it depends on the day you go, but definitely a huge improvement from what I've seen in the last few years, absolutely. Also, just wanted to say a huge shout out to Neto and Maryanne. 2 Brazilian Canadians that I met in line for Alpenfury. They made the 90-minute wait an absolute joy. They taught me some Portuguese, they taught me a lot about Brazilian culture, gave me good life advice. And now it is my turn to return that favor. If you're looking to pick up a new language, then please check out Mix and Match Fluency in the description below. If you want an effective teacher that has proven strategies and will help you with confidence along your entire language journey, then these 2 are the people to call hands down. Neto and Maryanne, I can't wait for our paths to cross again in the future sometime. Thank you so much for a fun visit. Well, I guess that's probably all that I have for you guys today here from Canada's Wonderland. If you did enjoy this, please like, comment, subscribe. So cheers to that, and here's to a long ride home. Thanks for watching.